I don't give a damn. I said what I said. I meant what I meant. And I'm going to double up and double down.
I don't hear nobody saying that. Now, you and I both know, if a black woman inherited a white man's estate and he had some old white parents, white folks would be all over the media shaming them. All over the media shaming them. But because Kobe Bryant's parents are black, Vanessa's not black, nobody's coming to his family's defense. I just hope they stand up for Kobe's mom. Kobe's mother. Kobe's mother is still walking. She's still with us. Vanessa Bryant, are you going to take care of Kobe's mom? That man left her a sizable estate, man. A sizable estate. And I don't hear any of these NBA players saying like, listen, we're not trying to get in your business, but Kobe was our brother.
Stephen A. Smith has never been one to bite his tongue. And now he's aiming straight at Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa. He's throwing out heavy accusations, claiming she's draining Kobe's estate and teetering on the edge of financial disaster. Stephen even says he's got receipts, and the things he's exposing about her spending will leave jaws on the floor. This isn't just another celebrity headline. It's a messy family betrayal that has the whole sports world buzzing. Vanessa, the widow of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, is suddenly at the center of a storm that nobody saw coming. In a recent interview, Stephen A. didn't sugarcoat a thing. He flat out questioned whether Vanessa has been deliberately freezing out Kobe's own family from his fortune. And if that wasn't shocking enough, he hinted she may be burning through the empire Kobe built brick by brick. To really grasp how wild this is, you've got to understand how Vanessa got here, and why people are whispering that the empire Kobe left behind might be cracking right in front of us. We start with a bombshell that ripped the Bryant family apart from the inside. Vanessa Bryant's own mother, Sophia Lane, came forward with shocking claims, accusing her daughter of throwing her out of her home just months after Kobe's tragic death in 2020. In an explosive interview nobody saw coming, Sophia said she was left homeless by the very daughter whose husband had once vowed to take care of her for life. This wasn't some quiet family disagreement. It turned into a full-blown courtroom war. Sophia actually sued Vanessa, insisting Kobe had promised she'd be supported financially forever. And her demands, they weren't small. She wanted millions in back pay, a new house, and a luxury car. More specifically, Sophia asked for $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes-Benz SUV, claiming she had worked for free as a personal assistant and nanny for nearly 2 decades. Vanessa fired back in brutal fashion. She accused her own mother of extortion, blasting the lawsuit as nothing but greed. Vanessa clapped back publicly, saying Sophia had only babysat occasionally and was now trying to twist a tragedy into a payday. Her exact words, "I have supported her for nearly 20 years. She now wants to back charge me $96 per hour for supposedly working 12 hours a day for 18 years. That statement lit social media on fire. And then Vanessa dropped another bombshell. "My husband never promised my mother anything." With that, the internet divided, some siding with Sophia, others stunned by Vanessa's raw defense. But here's the twist. This wasn't just a mother-daughter feud. At the exact same time Vanessa was battling Sophia in court, Kobe's mother, Pamela Bryant, stepped into the spotlight with her own accusations. Pamela claimed Vanessa had completely cut her off after Kobe's death, leaving her with zero financial support, abandoning the woman who gave birth to Kobe Bryant himself. Think about that. In the same year Kobe passed, both Sophia and Pamela accused Vanessa of betrayal and financial coldness. 2 mothers, 2 lawsuits, 1 widow in the middle of chaos, and this was only the beginning. The media smelled blood, and they pounced. Social media blew up with takes flying everywhere, and even Stephen A. Smith jumped into the mess, demanding to know why nobody in the NBA world was holding Vanessa accountable. And when it comes to calling Vanessa out, there's one voice that never stays quiet: Dr. Umar. At one point, he even went as far as accusing Vanessa of neglecting Kobe's parents because she's a white woman, claiming the media protects her for that very reason. That accusation set off a firestorm. But let's pump the brakes for a second, because this isn't just about bitter in-laws, race, or family politics. This cuts to the heart of one question: what would Kobe have wanted? And according to people close to the family, the answer is complicated. Here's the truth most fans don't know. Kobe had been estranged from his mother Pamela years before his passing. Their fallout wasn't some small misunderstanding. It blew up in 2013 when Pamela tried to auction off his high school jerseys, rings, and other personal memorabilia without his permission. Kobe was so furious he hit her with a lawsuit, and from that day forward, their bond was shattered. He cut her off both emotionally and financially, and he never looked back. So when Kobe passed and Pamela came to Vanessa for support, Vanessa refused. That's when the narrative got flipped inside out. Suddenly, she was painted as the cold-hearted villain. The irony is wild. The same woman Kobe himself had allegedly disowned for betrayal is now dragging Vanessa's name through the mud for doing exactly what Kobe wanted. Here's the million-dollar question. Or should we say, the $600 million question. If Vanessa Bryant inherited an estate worth more than $500 million, then why are whispers swirling that she's on the verge of bankruptcy? Something's not adding up, and the deeper you dig into Vanessa's financial world, the murkier it gets. What starts to emerge isn't the picture of a grieving widow simply trying to hold her family together. No, it's the image of someone possibly living far beyond her means, buried under lawsuits, media heat, and private battles that are starting to spill out into the public. Even die-hard Kobe fans are beginning to ask the same thing. What exactly is Vanessa hiding? The warning signs were flashing from the start. First, it was Sophia Lane, Vanessa's own mother, suing her for millions and accusing her of betrayal. Then came Pamela Bryant, Kobe's mother, accusing Vanessa of abandoning her completely. Two mothers, two lawsuits, two sets of accusations, and one widow right in the middle of the storm. But if you think that's where the drama ends, think again. Behind the closed doors of the Bryant estate, sources claim a secret war is raging. It's not just about family squabbles anymore. It's a battle over Kobe's legacy, his wealth, and the power that comes with it. And the ugliest part, every move Vanessa makes is now being dissected in public, exposing her to humiliating headlines and endless speculation. Since Kobe's passing, Vanessa hasn't just inherited his fortune, she's taken full control of it. But with that control has come a string of financial decisions that some say are reckless, legally messy, and potentially damaging to Kobe's name long-term. And yes, critics like Dr. Umar are even suggesting race plays into why this chaos has been overlooked for so long. At the time of his death, Kobe Bryant's empire was valued at an eye-popping $600 million. That fortune came from more than just his $200 million in NBA earnings. Kobe was a businessman, stacking investments that turned into gold mines. His legendary $6 million stake in Body Armor exploded into nearly $400 million when Coca-Cola bought in. Add in his major brand partnerships, multiple mansions, luxury cars, rare collectibles, and the media empire under Granity Studios, Kobe built a kingdom. So the burning question is, what happened to all of it? The first cracks didn't come in court, but in the real estate listings. In 2022, Vanessa quietly put one of Kobe's Newport Beach homes on the market, a property they had bought in 2013. The house was worth about $2 million more than they paid, but insiders noticed the timing. She sold it right as whispers of massive legal fees and estate restructuring started making the rounds. Then things got stranger. Within a year, two more luxury properties went up for sale, including a family-owned condo used by relatives and a sprawling retreat outside of California. And here's the kicker. Those weren't random assets. These were homes Kobe had allegedly planned to keep for his daughters as part of his long-term estate plan. The silence from Vanessa's camp only fueled speculation, while financial experts began raising red flags. When you see multiple luxury properties being unloaded this quickly, especially by someone without a consistent income stream, it usually points to one thing: cash flow problems. One estate planning attorney told Bloomberg anonymously. And here's the bombshell. Experts claim Vanessa's legal battles have already drained a shocking amount of Kobe's fortune in just 3 years. Between the wrongful death lawsuit against the helicopter company and her lawsuit against the LA County Sheriff's Department over the leaked crash photos, the legal bills alone are said to be burning through Kobe's empire faster than anyone imagined. Yes, Vanessa scored a $16 million payout, but here's the catch. That money didn't stay in her pocket. Between sky-high legal fees and splitting it with co-plaintiffs, the win barely made a dent in the mounting costs. Add on 2 lawsuits from her own mother, another threat of legal action from Kobe's mom, and an ongoing trust dispute, and suddenly victory starts looking like defeat. Insiders say that even when Vanessa won, the price tag of fighting was massive. Estate advisors estimate she's already burned through tens of millions in legal bills alone, attorney retainers, asset disputes, private settlements, and non-stop management headaches. And that's just the courtroom side of things. In the past 3 years, Vanessa has been spotted living it up in Europe, Aspen, and Turks and Caicos. She's rocked custom couture gowns at award shows, hosted lavish private events with celebrity chefs and 5-star security, and traveled almost exclusively by private jet, even for short domestic trips. Now let's be real. No one's saying she doesn't deserve comfort. She lost her husband, she's raising 3 daughters, and she's under constant pressure. But here's the issue. Instead of building Kobe's legacy, it looks like she's draining it. Take Granity Studios, Kobe's pride and joy. Before his death, he had turned it into a content powerhouse, publishing books and negotiating deals with Netflix and Disney for animated projects. Now, the Instagram page hasn't been active in over 2 years, the website shows no updates, and former employees claim the whole studio is either frozen or shutting down completely. Even Kobe's beloved Mamba Sports Foundation, once a symbol of his legacy, has been renamed, reorganized, and some say watered down. To critics, it looks less like preservation of Kobe's empire and more like a slow, painful dismantling of everything he built. Even the Mamba and Mamba Cheetah Sports Foundation, Kobe's pride project for giving back, has started to sputter. While Vanessa still promotes it publicly, the numbers don't lie. Tax filings show donations plummeting year after year, and major corporate sponsors have quietly pulled out. What was once about impact, legacy, and continuity now looks like it's fading fast. Remember, Kobe wanted his daughters to inherit more than just his money. He wanted them to inherit his vision, and that vision is slipping away. Behind the scenes, insiders say Vanessa has been making big moves, consolidating Kobe's partnerships, merging trusts, and essentially cutting out the advisors Kobe himself handpicked. She's not just inheriting power, she's reassigning it, one former Granity Studios consultant revealed. That's a massive red flag. Kobe had built layers of protection, business managers, advisory boards, legal safety nets. But now, it's all Vanessa at the wheel, with no checks and balances. And the spending? Astronomical. Between endless legal fees, property taxes, maintenance on sprawling mansions, luxury travel, top-tier security, and a high-flying lifestyle with no new scalable income streams from Kobe's brands, experts say Vanessa may have already burned through over $100 million since 2021. One insider warned that unless she makes a drastic pivot, either reinvesting heavily into Kobe's business assets or launching fresh, sustainable brand partnerships, the Bryant estate could run out of liquidity within a decade. Let that sink in. The $600 million fortune Kobe built brick by brick could be on the brink of collapse before his daughters even come of age. And according to Stephen A. Smith and other critics, that's not just mismanagement. That's a tragedy unfolding in real time. The legacy lost. For years, Vanessa Bryant was untouchable. The grieving widow who stood in front of millions, eulogizing Kobe with poise and grace. She was celebrated as the rock holding her family together after an unthinkable tragedy. People praised her, worshipped her strength, and showered her with sympathy. But that sympathy is drying up fast. In the court of public opinion, Vanessa is no longer being seen as the victim. She's slowly being cast as the villain. And the change didn't happen overnight. It started quietly, with side comments under Instagram posts, whispers on Reddit threads, and heated debates on Twitter. But now, those whispers have turned into a roar. The tipping point came when Stephen A. Smith's explosive comments went viral. Fans lit up TikTok with the clip racking up millions of views, endless duets, and fierce arguments across every platform. For the first time, the public wasn't just praising Vanessa, they were questioning her. YouTube exposés started flooding in with titles like, "Vanessa Bryant is not who you think she is," and "The Silent Collapse of Kobe's Empire." Each video came with receipts, legal filings, estate records, old interviews, and the tone was icy. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about resilience, it was about responsibility. Even mainstream outlets that once crowned Vanessa as the ultimate symbol of strength, People, ET, Vogue, have quietly cooled their tone. In the years after Kobe's death, they painted her as untouchable, almost saint-like. But now, the praise has been replaced by cautious headlines, subtle critiques, and a growing sense that the media machine is preparing to turn on her. Forbes broke down Kobe's $600 million estate, but here's what stood out. Not a single line praising Vanessa's financial leadership. The Los Angeles Times covered her real estate sales, calling them strategic, but even they admitted uncertainty clouds the Bryant estate's future. These outlets weren't tearing her apart, but they weren't shielding her anymore either. And that silence, it's deafening. Even the celebrity circle that once wrapped around Vanessa has started to vanish. In 2020 and 2021, her feed was filled with A-list friends. Lala Anthony, Ciara, Kim Kardashian, Gabrielle Union, red carpets, birthday tributes, high-profile support. But by 2023, those posts disappeared. The red carpet invites slowed, the shout-outs dried up. And today, it's almost impossible to find a single big-name celebrity publicly defending her. Even LeBron James, once seen as close to the Bryant family, has stayed stone-cold silent on the lawsuits and estate drama. And here's the thing, when the people around you suddenly go quiet, it usually means they know something the public doesn't. The backlash didn't just stop with friends and media, it seeped into Kobe's most sacred ground. His fans, and Kobe's fan base isn't just loyal, it's ferociously protective. These are people who treat his legacy like scripture. Yet now, even they're asking uncomfortable questions. Why has the Mamba Academy's online presence practically vanished? Why has Nike stepped back from commemorative Kobe merchandise? And why, years later, are there still no major documentaries or books celebrating Kobe's legacy the way fans expected? What was supposed to be a legacy of greatness is now being overshadowed by confusion, lawsuits, and silence. And fans are starting to wonder if Kobe's empire is slipping through Vanessa's hands. And here's the gut punch answer insiders are whispering. Vanessa has full creative and legal control over Kobe's empire, and she's either not prioritizing it or outright blocking it. A former ESPN producer, speaking under anonymity, revealed that a major streaming service had a Kobe docu-series ready to go, but the project was scrapped indefinitely after estate negotiations collapsed. Why? Vanessa's legal team allegedly made unreasonable demands. The result? Silence. No documentary, no long-form tribute, no true public commemoration of the Black Mamba's legacy. So ask yourself, what would Kobe think if he saw all this? The lawsuits, the endless silence, the fortune bleeding into legal bills and luxury spending. Two mothers, his and hers, both dragging his widow into court within a year of his death. Fans losing faith, the brand fading away, the trust in his legacy breaking down. This isn't just scandal. It feels like spiritual betrayal. Because Kobe Bryant's legacy was never just about basketball. It was discipline, fatherhood, mentorship, building something bigger than himself. He worked harder than anyone, not just to win championships, but to leave a blueprint his daughters could carry forward. And now that dream looks like it's crumbling with him. Kobe himself told us what mattered most. I want my kids to understand the importance of hard work. I want them to learn that nothing comes easy and that being great requires focus, sacrifice, and commitment. ESPN, 2017. And just months before the crash, he doubled down. My daughters are everything to me. My legacy is theirs. Now I'm just building the foundation. They'll build the future. GQ, 2019. Every move Kobe made, from Granity Studios to the Mamba Academy, from his body armor stake to his children's books, was about the long game. He didn't care about Hollywood clout anymore. He cared about being a father, a builder, a man of legacy. And that's the haunting question fans can't escape. Is the empire Kobe built to outlive him slowly being buried with him? What we've seen in the years since Kobe's passing doesn't reflect the vision he fought so hard to create. Kobe founded Granity Studios to tell stories for children, especially young girls, that would inspire them to chase greatness. He called it a storytelling studio with a sports soul. But after his death, that heartbeat flatlined. The Instagram page went dark, projects were shelved, the creative team scattered. What was supposed to be his legacy in media has been reduced to silence. Then there was Kobe's second baby, the Mamba Sports Academy. This wasn't just a gym, it was a temple built on Kobe's values of grit, teamwork, and relentless excellence. It was also the place where he trained side by side with Gianna, shaping her into the next generation of greatness. After his death, Vanessa rebranded it as the Mamba and Mamba Cheetah Sports Foundation. At first, fans saw it as a touching tribute, but behind the scenes, public filings and insider reports paint a darker picture. Training programs scaled back, expansion plans halted, corporate sponsors walking away, staff quietly laid off or reassigned. The temple Kobe built for the future now looks more like a logo than a living legacy. And here's where the contrast cuts deepest. Kobe was legendary, not just for his discipline on the court, but off it too. Even at the peak of fame, he avoided reckless splurges. His motto was clear: own, don't rent, build, don't borrow. He invested in companies, content, and causes designed to last generations. Vanessa's approach, the opposite. Selling off legacy homes Kobe intended to keep, burning millions on family legal wars, flying private jets coast to coast, dropping money on luxury vacations, designer gowns, and elite galas. And through it all, no real reinvestment back into Kobe's empire, no new projects, no new momentum, no clear vision to grow what he left behind. The empire Kobe built brick by brick is looking less like a fortress and more like it's slipping through her fingers. Is this really what Kobe fought for? Would he have wanted his name tangled up in lawsuits, his parents cut off, his studios abandoned, and his academies left to fade into silence? Even if you stand with Vanessa as a grieving mother, even if you sympathize with her pain, the truth is brutal. This doesn't line up with Kobe's philosophy. Kobe Bryant didn't just chase rings, he gave his life to something bigger. Vision, discipline, and a blueprint for greatness that would outlive him. And now that dream looks like it's being dismantled piece by piece, not by rivals, not by enemies, but by the very person who once promised to protect it. That's why Stephen A's words cut deeper than gossip. Because Kobe's fortune was never just measured in millions of dollars. It was measured in dreams, in purpose, in the empire he built for his daughters and the generations after him. And what's left now? A fractured family, a dormant studio, a fading foundation, disappearing funds, and silence. The question is haunting. Can the Bryant legacy survive without Kobe? Or has the empire he spent his life building already slipped away? The answer lies in Vanessa's hands. She could still turn it around, she could reinvest, reconcile, and rebuild, but she'll have to do what Kobe always did when the odds were stacked against him: own her mistakes, make the hard calls, and fight for something bigger than herself. Only then can Kobe's legacy rise again. But here's the twist no one's talking about. There are darker corners of this story still hidden, secrets buried so deep that the silence itself feels like a warning. And if those truths ever come to light, they could change the entire narrative and put even the children's future at risk. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. What about Natalia, Bianca, and Capri Bryant? These girls didn't just lose their father and sister in the crash. They may now be watching their inheritance vanish too. Kobe structured his fortune as a trust, which means Vanessa holds the reins until the girls hit certain ages. But here's the chilling reality. Every lawsuit, every property quietly sold, every business left to die isn't just draining the estate. It's taking directly from their future. Estate experts we spoke to didn't hold back. When you're burning through tens of millions on legal fees and luxury expenses while shutting down income-generating assets, you're essentially stealing from the beneficiaries, one attorney told us anonymously. That statement hit like a bombshell. And it gets worse. Natalia Bryant, now 21, should legally be entitled to transparency about her inheritance. Yet insiders claim she's had little to no involvement in estate decisions and might even be kept in the dark about the true financial state of her father's empire. Imagine that. The eldest daughter of Kobe Bryant, sidelined while the empire her father built for her future slips away. Here's another shocker. Kobe's Nike partnership was supposed to keep his estate thriving for decades, generating millions year after year. But since 2020, Nike has quietly scaled back Kobe merchandise drops. Why? Industry insiders point to Vanessa's camp, saying her team made unreasonable demands that clashed with Kobe's original vision for the deal. The result? Millions in potential earnings left on the table, and yet another blow to the long-term stability of the Bryant legacy. A former Nike executive dropped a bombshell. Kobe wanted his sneakers to be affordable, a real alternative for kids who couldn't buy Jordans. He dreamed of wide access, not exclusivity. But according to this insider, Vanessa's team pushed for premium pricing and limited releases. That move went completely against Kobe's vision, and the result, millions in potential revenue lost. Money that was supposed to fuel scholarships, grow academies, and secure his daughter's futures. Everyone remembers Vanessa's $16 million courtroom win against LA County. But here's what most people don't know. A massive chunk of that payout never touched her accounts. Legal fees swallowed up millions. And the settlement itself had to be split with other crash victims' families. And here's the kicker. Insiders claim Vanessa actually turned down a much larger settlement early on because her legal team convinced her to hold out for more. That gamble? It may have cost the estate tens of millions extra in fees and dragged the case out for years longer than it needed to. And that wasn't the only missed opportunity. Before his death, Kobe was lining up business plays far beyond body armor and Granity Studios. He had tech investments in the works, international deals brewing, and new media partnerships about to launch. These were ventures designed to multiply his empire for decades. But after Kobe's passing, those projects didn't just stall. Most of them quietly disappeared. Deals dried up, partnerships dissolved, and potential revenue streams that could have secured the Bryant legacy for generations were left to fade away. So where are all of Kobe's former business partners now? Silent, completely silent. Several associates who once proudly worked with him refused to even speak on the record. One tech entrepreneur who collaborated with Kobe on a sports analytics company told us privately that after Kobe's death, Vanessa's team swept in and shut the whole thing down. Millions in development, gone overnight. And remember, Kobe wasn't just a star in America. He was a global icon. From China to Italy to Europe at large, he had licensing deals, international partnerships, and major expansion plans ready to launch. Yet since his death, nothing. No international appearances by Vanessa, no global partnerships announced, no continuation of the empire Kobe spent years building overseas. To some, it looks less like neglect and more like a deliberate abandonment of his worldwide vision, but the most heartbreaking part may be this. Kobe was working on a memoir before his death. Close friends confirmed he was pouring his soul into it, writing about his life, his mistakes, his evolution as a father, and his dreams for his daughter's futures. That manuscript, according to insiders, is sitting locked away within the estate. And Vanessa, reports say she's shown no interest whatsoever in publishing it. Think about that. Kobe's final words, his message to the world and to his daughters, silenced in a drawer, collecting dust. The story he wanted to tell the world is now being buried with him. Imagine the impact that memoir could have had, the lives it could have inspired, the lessons it could have passed on, the fortune it could have secured for Kobe's daughters. Instead, it's locked away in silence, gathering dust in a vault. Another piece of Kobe's legacy dying quietly. But the most damning twist? Former employees and close associates are starting to talk. The NDAs are running out, and people who worked side by side with Kobe are breaking their silence. One former Mamba Academy coach revealed that Kobe had mapped out huge programs, training camps for underprivileged kids, international academies, even certification programs for coaches worldwide. Within months of Kobe's death, Vanessa reportedly scrapped it all. Another insider, a former Granity Studios employee, admitted Netflix had a Kobe documentary series lined up, and Disney wanted animated films based on his children's books. Both projects canceled. Why? Because Vanessa's team allegedly demanded full creative control in ways that would have watered down Kobe's original vision. The opportunities Kobe built to inspire generations were thrown away. And here's the chilling reality experts can't ignore. If the current burn rate continues, the Bryant estate could be functionally bankrupt within 7 to 10 years. Think about that. Natalia, Bianca, and Capri, the daughters Kobe died believing would be set for life, could end up inheriting nothing but debt and legal nightmares. And the silence around Vanessa's choices is getting louder by the day. Why hasn't a single NBA legend stood up publicly to defend her? Why has Nike quietly distanced itself? Why have international partners gone dark? And why are former employees risking lawsuits by breaking NDAs to speak out? The answer may be simpler than anyone wants to admit. Maybe they know something the rest of us don't. And if Stephen A. Smith had the guts to say out loud what insiders have been whispering for years, maybe it's time the world finally started asking the hard questions. So here's the ultimate question. Is Vanessa Bryant the guardian of Kobe's legacy or the one tearing it apart? Is she a widow fighting through grief to protect what he left behind, or someone drowning in control of an empire she never truly understood? And the most painful question of all, what would Kobe say if he could see it now? The lawsuits, the money vanishing, the properties sold off, the businesses abandoned, the silence from partners, the daughter's futures hanging in limbo. The empire that was supposed to outlive him looks like it's collapsing in real time. The clock is ticking, the fortune is bleeding out, and Kobe Bryant's legacy may be on the brink of disappearing forever. The world is watching. But the question is, will Vanessa fight to save it, or will history remember her as the one who let it crumble? The truth is brutal. Kobe Bryant gave his life to build something bigger than basketball, an empire of vision, discipline, and family that was meant to outlast him. But now, that empire stands on the edge of collapse, tangled in lawsuits, drained by spending, silenced by canceled projects, and abandoned by the very people who once claimed to protect it. So we're left with one haunting question. Will Kobe's legacy survive, or will it vanish right before our eyes? The clock is ticking, the money is vanishing, and the future of his daughters, the true heirs to the Mamba mentality, hangs in the balance. And that's why the world is watching Vanessa Bryant like never before. Because if she can't turn it around, Kobe's empire could end not with a bang, but with a quiet fade into nothing. This story isn't finished, not by a long shot. And if you want the unfiltered truth about the scandals the media won't touch, the betrayals behind the headlines, and the secrets that could shatter the culture, you already know where to be. This is BarzBuzz, where the legacy, the lies, and the legends get exposed. Stay tuned because the next bombshell is coming.